You have an interesting bulleting tactic.
What's that?
Just those little arrows you draw. They're kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Normally I do this, so I'll go this, like when I do my notes at school.
You have literally different levels of bullets. It's impressive. I appreciate that. Like it's like you're a computer. Like your bullets change as you indent.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Because I don't like just indenting. I like knowing like this is like a sub.
This is part of this.
Subheading.
I like that. The part of me that's obsessed with organizing things is like, hell yeah, dude. Good work. Dude.
You should look up Cornell notes. You'd probably just fucking bust your load.
We are in.
Cello.
The Chris and Kyle show. He's Chris, I'm Kyle. What up?
Hey, people.
Dudes and dudettes. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. I don't.
Looking at me
There's
weird.
certain words that I don't like.
Dudette? You don't like dudette?
I'm not a big fan of dudette.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of another word that.
Moist.
No, I don't know why.
Why do people get bothered by the word moist?
Because it makes them think of vaginas. That's the only reason. The girls are like,
really?
I don't like moist.
Well, it's not just girls. I've no dudes that don't like the word moist.
I feel
either.
like if you took a cross section of the amount of people.
If we made a pie chart.
Yeah.
One circle would be way bigger than the other. Like the amount.
It's not multiple circles. It would be a pie chart.
No, like
that's how pies are made.
No,
how do you cut pies?
No, sir. Pie. This pie is smaller because there's less people in it. This pie is bigger because there's more people in it. And then there's a little part in the middle where they intersect. What are you talking about?
Like, are you talking about a Venn diagram?
Yes.
It's not a pie chart.
Yes, I am. I'm thinking of a Venn diagram. Are we going to name this episode Pie Chart or something like that at this point?
Yeah, maybe.
Just whenever one of us says something dumb.
That's.
We could get something worse later.
That's true.
Hey, we've got a Sparkle Fairy Batman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, man. How many people do you think are... If we're doing another Venn diagram pie chart of this, right? How many people do you think actually are excited for...
Not enough.
Robert Pattinson to be
enough.
Batman? So,
not enough. Robert Pattinson is dope.
Okay. Why do you think this?
Why do I think he's dope?
I know, because I have a straight up reason why. Like, because fucking...
Which is it? Who's he? The movie Pete Davidson loves.
Good Time.
Do the bit. Do the bit.
Good Time is the best movie ever made. You should have won an Oscar. I'm serious.
Okay, thank you.
Like, sure, I'm in a movie coming out, but I love Robert Pattinson. And Robert Pattinson is Batman?
So
are you kidding me?
He's
way better than me as Batman.
I don't think I've seen any movie with Robert Pattinson in it. Ever. Besides Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
And you never saw the Twilight movies?
I think I maybe have seen one of them.
Okay.
Maybe. I did. I saw one on a cruise ship and fell asleep because I was sick. So I was like sick and I had to go in the room and I turned the TV on, but you're on a cruise, so there's like only weird channels. And I was like, oh, look, a movie.
Yikes.
And it was Twilight and I was like, oh, fuck. And then I fell asleep. It was bad. I know you love Twilight. I'm sorry. You love the books. You love the books.
I mean, I read them while I was in high school.
Yeah, but
so I would probably love them even more now.
Even more now, exactly. Yeah, that's the point. That being said, there's something about the redemption arc of someone who was like a teen heartthrob.
Right.
It's and I feel like more people, not more. I don't know. It seems like it's happening. Just like Zac Efron has a little bit of it, right?
Okay.
Like he's very different than Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson does like really serious acting roles in indie movies and weird stuff with like interesting directors and stuff. Whereas Zac Efron is like, I'm going to be in a Seth Rogen movie. Mm-hmm. But he's like a super funny dude.
And it's also like it's not as it's not as I don't what's the word I'm looking for here, like as crazy, like as volatile, maybe because like Zac Efron was like like a teen heartthrob in a movie series that was targeted towards a specific audience of young teenage women
and me
and you obviously and Robert Pattinson basically same one women
and you
and me but like High School Musical isn't the punchline that Twilight is. Like,
True. Twilight is a punchline.
When it comes to like,
hence the reason I said Sparkle Fairy Batman.
When it comes to young adult novels, like Twilight is Nickelback. Like,
that's so true.
Like, no one respects Twilight, other than like hardcore Twilight fans, right?
Wow, that's so true.
And so, like, I don't think that people disrespect Zac Efron probably as much as they did Robert Pattinson, just for the sake of Robert Pattinson being in those movies.
Yeah.
But
like, how great is it that him and Kristen Stewart are both like acclaimed indie actors now? Mm-hmm. Dude, one of my favorite takes I've seen I saw this on Twitter. Somebody literally just said, "Make Kristen Stewart Catwoman, you cowards." And I was like, do it. Make her Catwoman. Do it. That would be awesome. That would be great. She's already going to be in the friggin' Witchamoozy movie with Hot Noah. What is that movie called? With all the ladies and the spies or something like that. Oh boy, my brain.
Nope.
No, you say something.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, I'm not sure. It's interesting to think about. I definitely do have a lot of respect for Robert Pattinson. Mm-hmm. A, because like I never really lost it just because he's associated with Twilight.
Yeah.
But B, because
Charlie's Angels.
Seeing fucking Charlie's Angels. Okay. But I believe in his ability as an actor. But like whether or not he will be able to pull off Batman, like I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it.
So
how do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm hella hyped for this Batman.
Really?
Matt Reeves.
Okay.
Matt Reeves, sir.
Right.
Who, if you don't
Why
know,
don't you tell me who Matt Reeves is?
He is responsible for one of my favorite
This is how we bring in the
one of
audience,
my
Kyle.
favorite trilogies of all time, the Planet of the Apes trilogy, as you kind of have to call it because the titles are so weird.
Right.
I love those movies. I think they're super underrated. I don't think enough people saw them, and I think it's one of the best trilogies of the last 10 to 20 years. It's up there.
Right.
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. To me,
Toy Story exists, man.
Toy Story is also up there, but it's also about to not be a trilogy anymore.
No.
So fuck off with that take. No. It doesn't count anymore.
Oh no, I've been
You've been had. You've been bamboozled.
I've been bamboozled by time.
So I love Matt Reeves. I think Matt Reeves is an amazing director, and I'm super hyped for his take on Batman. And like the fact that DC is this is a 180, right? The bro-fueled idea of Zack Snyder making a Zack Snyder Ben Affleck led Batman franchise flipping around to a Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson led thing. Come on.
Right.
Come on. How much more different can you expect it to be? Mm-hmm. And they're like, we want to focus on the detective stuff. The only thing is I'm like, yo, Arpat, we're going to be good because like you're an actor and they're just going to pay for this, but like get more jacked. That's all I'm worried about.
You just want to be more
just
jacked?
Get jacked. Just make sure you're jacked. Otherwise, like, how am I supposed to believe you're Batman?
Right.
If you're not jacked.
I hope we get a little bit more Bruce Wayne.
I think we will.
Are you looking forward to that?
We haven't gotten much Bruce Wayne since Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
When Michael Keaton was a weird Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Weird. We had a little bit with Christian Bale, but not a lot. It was mostly his relationship with Alfred and his relationship with Rachel more than anything else in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Which is great. I love those movies. Mm-hmm. Dark Knight's one of my favorite movies of all time. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think Robert Pattinson can really bring some fun Bruce Wayne stuff to the table.
I also don't think that, like, Christopher Nolan isn't the greatest, like, character-driven.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a spectacle director. Mm-hmm. Great movies, but they're spectacle-driven.
Well, a spectacle, I would say, as well as, like, I don't know. Ideas.
Like, they're very high concept.
Uh-huh.
High concept spectacles with dope scores.
That's not high concept. High concept is
what?
Like Rush Hour is high concept. It's super.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so
explain yourself.
Okay, so this is like confused a lot by
people. Yeah.
Like they'll say like Inception is a high concept movie, but that it's.
I didn't know that high concept was a thing.
I
just thought it was two words that describe something.
No.
Okay.
So like
proper noun, high concept.
So like proper noun, high concept, what it means is like you can explain it like Asian cop, black cop have to take on Hong Kong. Like it's very high concept. So it's Die Hard on a train, right? Like that's actually what high concept is in the proper.
Is that a Liam Neeson movie?
Huh? I'm not sure. I know it's happened on a boat that was under siege.
Die Hard on a boat?
Die Hard on a boat was basically under siege of Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yo, stop that. Every Liam Neeson movie since not every Liam Neeson movie since Taken, but like all of the generic action films that Liam Neeson makes since Taken are just taken in a different location, and it's hysterical to me. Mm-hmm. There's literally Taken on a train, Taken on a plane, Taken in a different country. Like it's so weird to me.
Taken in a box. Taken
but
the fox.
then also like Grey exists. Mm-hmm. I love Grey.
The Grey?
Is it called The Grey? I think it is The Grey. The one with the wolves. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah.
Great. That's a bad joke. Batman.
But okay, so my original point. All right, so I get what you're saying. Like with Christopher Nolan, like usually dealing with a lot of big ideas.
Yes.
But yeah, like usually like his more like character emotional shit doesn't land as much. At least a lot of people like criticize him for not landing those emotional moments when he tries a little bit too hard to.
I would argue that the Prestige has that in really, really good execution.
But it's almost like the ideas have to come first, and then and then,
for sure,
like, the
for
humanity
sure.
sort of follows.
Yep,
you know.
I think that's how he thinks. I think he comes up with his idea. Like he comes up with his stories based on these ideas he has. He's like, I want to make a movie about a dude who goes to space and then like travels through dimensions, and then he works backwards to finding out who Matthew McConaughey is.
Exactly.
I'm gonna dock it.
I'm gonna write a fucking movie about a guy that has no memory,
and writes notes on himself.
Who does he end up becoming?
Yeah,
right from that idea.
And then like Batman's a little different, right? Because like everyone knows who Batman is, so he like it's a little bit of a different approach. But it's like, here's what I think would be cool if this happened with Batman. Is sort of how, or I think even more so is like, here's what I think would be cool if this would happen with the Joker, and this is how Batman would deal with it. Almost.
But it's also like, what would Batman look like in a real sense?
Yes,
I think that's
very
the
much,
biggest idea.
very much.
I think that's
that.
the biggest idea with his trilogy.
Yeah.
But Matt Reeves is someone who's not that. He's someone who's delved into obviously spectacle movies with the Apes films, but they're also so incredibly character driven.
Dude, I've said this so many times. I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast, but just in my life, Caesar the monkey is one of the most human characters you'll ever see in anything you ever watch, and he's a frickin' monkey. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah. Andy Serkis, da God, it's killing it.
Like, you might be a dick, but you can play a monkey real well.
Andy Serkis a dick?
I guess so.
What?
That's the word on the street.
From who?
I've just been hearing it on the streets, dude.
You walk out on the road and people say that to you?
Out here in WeHo. All these
You're making me sad.
All these vagrants been telling me, hey, you know Andy Serkis? Andy Serkis?
No, don't say that, dude.
He kind of a jerkhole.
Don't say that. That makes me sad. Like, why can't just everyone be nice all the time to everybody? Matt Reeves didn't do much before the Of the Apes movies. I mean, Cloverfield, never seen it.
True.
Let Me In.
Cloverfield's fun, man.
Never seen it.
Let Me In. He would let me in the vampire movie.
Yes. A bullied young boy befriends a young female vampire who lives in secrecy with her guardian.
Yeah, so it's the American remake of Let the Right One In.
Oh, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
Cody Smith McPhee. Mm-hmm. They got so many people with so many names.
Yeah, dude. You fucking watched Let the Right One In, dude.
He wrote it, too.
Apparently...
or wrote...
The adaptation or whatever. Let the Right One In is a fucking great-ass vampire movie.
He didn't make the first... He didn't make Rise of the Planet of the Apes? I thought he did. That's Rupert Wyatt. I didn't know that. Somebody different. Doesn't matter to me. The other two are dope. Good. It's got a lot of upcoming stuff, though. The Batman. So there's other rumors about this movie. I don't know if you've heard. There's a rumor going around. I don't know how true it is. Obviously, I don't know how true any of this is. Like that Josh Gad is going to play the Penguin, which is weird. In summer. Silly, right?
Guys. Spare Claw.
Is that New Girl? Yes. I forgot he was in New Girl.
Yes.
I forgot he was in New Girl.
Dude. Fucking some classic performances in New Girl. I mean, that'd be interesting. Josh Gad as the Penguin.
Josh Gad's super talented, so I'm not gonna discount it.
Yeah.
On the surface, you know what I mean?
He's like a huge Broadway actor, right?
He was Book of Mormon.
Right?
Yeah, he was Book of Mormon. He won Tonys and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's super talented.
Mm-hmm.
He's also been working out a lot. But do you have to work out to get in shape for the Penguin? No.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm just super hyped for the idea of a Matt Reeves Batman movie, and I think Robert Pattinson's a very interesting choice to play him. And the thing that is my favorite about it is that it's just so opposite of the idea of the Schneider verse DC movies. That's my favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
Pivot from
hopefully that is what it is.
Pivot from the bro hard shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with it. Fed up.
Could be fun. I hope that they don't go with a Joker storyline for.
They definitely won't. For the first one, no way. Especially because they're also making two Joker movies or something. DC's weird now.
Two? What's the second one?
The Jared Leto Joker movie.
They're making it Jared Leto.
Apparently, dude, they're doing a bunch of weird shit. Their business plan right now is to just do as much shit as they can and see what sticks. I think. Jared Leto. Yo, did you see him at the Met Gala?
Oh, dude.
With his own head?
Hell yeah.
That was so weird. The Met Gala is such a weird thing.
Yeah. Do you know what the theme was?
I heard it, but I forget.
Camp. The theme was camp.
What does that mean?
Camp, so
the album? If I just walked up wearing a cutout of Donald Glover's album Camp, would I fit in?
Wearing a cutout of
it? I'm wearing a cardboard box, and it just has the image.
Well, the thing is, that is very campy.
Sure. Untitled Jared Leto Joker Project. And Untitled Joker Harley Quinn Project.
So you're sighing out of excitement.
Yep.
And pure joy.
Yep.
Jubilation.
Yeah. Other movie stuff. We watched some trailers. Any of these trailers excite you?
Midsommar.
Midsommar looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm. It's coming, dog. The explosion is coming. That sounded weird.
Guys, hop onto the Pew Pew train.
Just wait till she's in that Greta Gerwig movie, and I'm telling you, she's going to get an Oscar nom. I can feel it in my... That movie is nowhere... There's not a trailer. There's nothing. I just think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. She's great. Also, amazing American accent in this trailer. Mm-hmm. She's British as hell.
So you have more Florence Pugh experience in your life.
Also Chidi.
What?
You've never seen A Good Place, right?
No.
The black dude in that trailer plays Chidi on The Good Place, and he's super good in that show. Very funny. And I was like, when I saw him, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Chidi's in something? Good for him. Also, eyebrows.
True. So
Mr. Poulter.
We're both coming at this from different. So you like Florence Pugh, and you have other people that I've never heard of that are good actors. The dude from Sing Street, who is the older brother in Sing Street, is in this movie. Who I fucking really like. He kind of looks like a knockoff Seth Rogen, kind of.
Who's that Swedish dude in this trailer? Because that dude's creepy.
Swedish dude.
He's like the dude that's he's like, oh, I'm so glad you came.
Oh.
He's creepy as hell in this trailer.
I don't know. But obviously the person that's actually fucking making the movie, is Ari Aster. Is that his name? Ari Aster?
It's Hereditary guy.
The guy that...
It's Mr. Hereditary.
The guy that made Hereditary, which I actually really enjoyed.
Hereditary is one of the... And seemingly this film... This is one of those things where it's not a horror movie, but it is. It seems like it's like Get Out, kind of, where it seems more like a mind fuck than anything else.
Right. What's your stance on Hereditary?
Oh wait, you're talking about Jack Rayner? Why do I know this dude? Hold on. I didn't recognize him from the trailer, but like I know his name. Keep talking. Sorry.
What's your stance on Hereditary as far as if you would watch it or not?
I would watch Hereditary.
You would. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it that you wouldn't.
I don't care about it. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
Clowns. Fucking clowns.
It's one clown.
Clown.
And you don't have to deal with a bunch of clowns.
Clown.
That would be ridiculous.
We all float here, or whatever the hell they say.
We all float down here.
Yeah, sure.
There's fucking thematic reasons for why they say that.
I'm just messing. So Midsummer is a movie about a couple in a rough patch in their relationship who go to Sweden, I think, to go to like some weird trip out camp, essentially. It seems like, but it's definitely a cult. It's definitely a cult.
Yeah, it's like some weird festival that only occurs every 90
years. What does that mean?
And it has like
and the way that dude said, he's like, we only do this every 90 years, and I'm like, were you there last time?
Yeah,
because you sound like you were there.
It's like
last
this weird, like if you were to make a pie chart Venn diagram of all of the different ideas, it's like Burning Man and fucking like the Wicker Man, like all
anywhere where people are doing a bunch of LSD, dropping acid,
right?
Yeah,
but it seems like more like I don't know, like
spiritual,
culty. I would say,
cultishly.
Burning Man like isn't really culty.
Cultishly spiritual.
It's just like it's like a spiritual like gathering of people that are like it's more chaotic. Whereas like this is more like.
I think for some people, Burning Man is the epitome of spiritual for them.
Yeah.
Just the idea of going to a place to be so free.
Yeah.
That's sort of what that is for them.
Yeah. But this is more culty. Though.
This is super culty.
Yeah.
Looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into it. What about so did you ever see Maleficent? You didn't, right?
Nope.
I saw Maleficent with my mom and my sisters when it came out. And this movie came out a long time ago. It was like 5 years or longer maybe. I don't remember a single thing that happens in that movie. And there's a sequel coming out. And I saw that trailer come out and I was like, "Wait, what? They're making a sequel to why? What? What's the point?" There's actually some really pretty stuff in the trailer.
And I'm pretty sure that the first one had a lot of that. Like a lot of just like really good looking.
But it's like
cinematics.
It's like Angelina Jolie, this is what you've been up to?
That movie, Mirror Mirror, and the other one, just kind of like there was another one that the
Ella
Swordsman.
Enchanted.
No, the Swordsman, the one with Chris Hemsworth.
Snow White and the Huntsman?
Yeah.
With Kristen Stewart and Chris Hemsworth?
Mm-hmm. That one was all right.
I like that movie. I like that movie more than most people.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah. That movie got a sequel. I never saw it. Emily Blunt was in it. Played Charlize Theron's sister.
Yeah.
There's beautiful stuff in Snow White and the Huntsman. Like really, really cool stuff.
I think all of them sort of had that element at least.
Mm-hmm. That fantastical beauty.
The Mirror is, I think, directed by the same guy who did The Cell, right?
I have no idea, dude. Mirror Mirror, I remember when it came out because I was like, that's the dumb version of this story that's coming out, and I never saw it. It was like so weird because it was kind of like how two Jungle Book movies came out within a couple years of each other. But like Mirror Mirror and Snow White and the Huntsman, I think, came out in the same summer or something like that. And they were so tonally different. Mm-hmm. And it was like, what in the world? How are both of these being made at the same time? It's so weird.
Yeah.
But like, what do you remember about Sleeping Beauty, the movie Sleeping Beauty?
The cartoon.
The cartoon Sleeping Beauty.
I remember the guy fighting the dragon or whatever.
So cool.
Right? I remember that.
The prince rides in on the horse and he's like fighting the dragon. There's all these like gross plants.
Didn't she?
She pricks herself and that's how she falls asleep.
Like
I remember that.
Or something?
Yeah.
Is it a thimble?
Is that
what a thimble is?
I don't know what a thimble is. Sure, thimble. She pricks herself. That's how she falls into an eternal slumber. The evil queen, because she's like, I don't want this bitch to be more beautiful than me, you know. But like now Disney's doing this weird thing where they're like, we're gonna make these Maleficent movies, and they're like friends. I think they like work together. Elle Fanning plays the princess, and like she's friends with Maleficent or something. I'm trying to remember. It's weird, but it's like Angelina Jolie. This is what you've been up to. She apparently also going to be in the same Marvel movie that Richard Madden's going to be in. That's weird.
Huh. I give
0
0
out of 10.
No, I give 0 fucks.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just weird. What about the first thing that I can think? I'm sorry. Second thing that I can think of that Daisy Ridley has done besides Star Wars, this film called Ophelia, which is the telling of Macbeth from Ophelia's point of view, essentially.
It's interesting.
I don't know a lot about Macbeth.
I like Daisy Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to say about Ray.
I love Ray. What can I say that? I love Ray. I think in the first movie there's some shit that happens that shouldn't, but I love Ray as a character.
Mm-hmm. I like the Ray movie, too. Jamie Foxx nailed it.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
I think I have it right over there.
Mm-hmm. Daisy Ridley, I like her. There's also the dude from Captain Fantastic.
I like how that's who you point out before Michelle Pfeiffer. Nope,
Michelle
that was the
Pfeiffer,
other trailer. I
freaking
mixed it up. That's the other trailer.
There was
Was
Maleficent.
Yeah, but
Maleficent
wait,
too.
who was the queen in this trailer? Too many weird. They're too close together, even though they look entirely different.
I know. I remember Clive Owen being.
Clive Owen is the dude who takes the throne. I don't know enough about Macbeth. Like, I should know these characters'
It's not
names.
Macbeth. It's Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know enough about any of them. I don't know any Shakespeare. Hold on. Let me make sure I get these. I'm mixing everything up.
Yeah, it seemed cool. I'm not super excited about it. It's like, it reminds me of there's certain movies that are like period pieces that I'm like, that might be interesting because of the actors that are involved and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, I'll see the trailer and that's like the height of my hype level, and then it just sort of wanes off.
Yo, but Tom
Like,
Felton's
it's like
in
when
it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good for you.
That's cool.
Good for you, Tom Felton.
Cool.
He was like, yo, I was Draco Malfoy, and I was
Well,
doing
like-
my thing, and I was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then it was like I was in nothing, and then I was in The Flash for a season, and that's
Right.
kind of weird, and now he's like, I'm in this weird kind of small
But,
movie
like,
from
I
A24.
remember being like
I know.
hyped for like Tulip Fever when that came
Holy
out.
shit, yeah.
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah, when that
Trailer. That was a
came out,
good
I
trailer.
like, well, I was
It's
like,
an interesting
is
trailer.
fucking Dane DeHaan
Yeah.
and my
Love
girl,
Dane DeHaan.
Alicia Vikander.
Alicia Vikander.
Oh my god! I was like,
Yo,
they're gonna be together.
I never saw that movie. Is that movie good?
No, I never saw it.
It's freaking Jeremy Irons is in it, right?
If not, it seems like he would be, right?
He's the dude that she's like married to.
I don't know, man. I don't remember. But like I said, like my hype level was pretty high for that, and then waned. It waned.
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz was
Not Jeremy Irons. Christoph Waltz.
Oh,
They're very accomplished men at acting.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weird people. Dude, Dame Judi Dench is in this movie. Zach Galifianakis is in that movie. Matthew Morrison.
in Tulip Fever.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the cast and it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Morrison, Mr. Schuster from Glee. That's so weird. What is happening?
Dog, he's also he plays a cop in Dane in real life, and every time I see him in that movie, because that's like a sleeper for like top 25 movies of all time for me. I fucking love Dan in real life.
Dan in real life?
Yeah, it's a Steve Carell movie.
Directed by Steve Carell?
No. He's the star of the movie.
Dan.
He's in it with
I recognize the movie poster.
yeah, with the pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A widower finds out the woman he fell in love with is his brother's girlfriend. Get roasted, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Is Dane Cook his brother?
Dane Cook is his brother, and the entire time, it's just like such a wholesome, like yet conflicting.
Britt Robertson's in it. I like her.
But yeah, it's just so tragic, and it's like so.
Amy Ryan's in it.
It's so amazing to see Steve Carell just navigate this like really like tragic situation where he's like in love with a girl that he finds out is in love with, in a relationship with his brother, and he can't get away from it because like they're all going out to this family retreat. This like family retreat that they do like every year or something like that. So like you're seeing him in all of these situations where the family's interacting, and he sees her and he sees Dane Cook, and Dane Cook, beautifully casted movie because Dane Cook is a dick in the fucking movie. Like he's not like a bad person, but he's an asshole. Like he's like, but he's jackass. Jackass is probably the better word. Like and
Fits Dane Cook.
It fits Dane Cook, right? Like when Dane Cook is not a bad person, you know what I mean?
But he's
like,
a jackass.
He's a jackass. Like it's very easy to not like Dane Cook.
Who's the girl? Is it Juliette Binoche or Alison Pill? Or is it somebody else?
It's not Alison Pill. It's Juliette Binoche. I
Okay.
think.
Dude, Amy Ryan is in the movie.
Is she the...
Holly is in the movie.
Oh, damn, I forgot that. Dude.
Why is Holly in the movie and not with Michael? Get out of here.
But there's a cool little moment with Matthew Morrison. He's a cop, and he's like consistently pulling over Steve Carell. And like after like the third time, Steve like he's like, that's gonna be like $150 ticket or whatever. And then Steve Carell's like, put it on my tab.
Dude, I love Steve Carell so much. Love him so much.
The cop's like, what? He just looks at him like defeated, like, put it on my tab.
So like even before Steve Carell started, you know, when he famously left The Office early to pursue more serious roles, and he's done a very good job of that since then.
Oh yeah,
been nominated. He's been nominated for Oscar, for Foxcatcher. He's the Adam McKay movies he's been in. You know, he's done his thing, but like he's always been like that thing you said, like navigating weird situations. Like that makes me think of Crazy Stupid Love, one of my favorite movies ever. I love that movie.
Right. And
Steve Carell's awesome in it. Like the very beginning of that movie when he just jumps out of the car, it's amazing. It's so good. Love him.
Yeah, like schlub's not really a good word for it, but like someone who's like navigating a really kind of tragic, like you can't do much about this situation other than deal with it.
Yeah. Not to mention he's in The 4-Year-Old Virgin. Classic movie. People love that movie.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite.
It's a great movie.
Comedies of all time.
Fucking great comedy. One of the best improv bits. You know how I know you're gay?
The entire movie.
Well, that's true. But like they run the post credits. Do you know how I know you're gay bit with like Seth Rogen and dude, the cast. It's Paul stupid. Rudd. Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen just being hysterical.
Right.
Why are comedies able to get such stacked? I guess lots of movies now do it.
I mean, how big was Seth Rogen at that point? Like
True.
He was in Donnie Darko as a kid.
I always forget that.
Yeah.
Because I know when we watched it, I was like, "Yo, that's young Seth Rogen. That's weird."
I mean, didn't your mom like stab your dad? That's what I was saying.
Was that before or after Freaks and Geeks? Because Freaks and Geeks is one of the craziest things ever when you look back at it.
Yeah.
The cast of Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Highly recommend watching the one season of that show that exists. That seems like one of those things that in the age of Netflix could have a new season made. You know what I mean?
Oh, Freaks and Geeks?
It just seems like if that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. If it was like Netflix is bringing back Freaks and Geeks for like a weird reunion season.
Right.
Like they do a season where they just have like a high school reunion.
Like what they did with What Hot American Summer?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, have you watched that? That show's hysterical.
Yeah.
I'd never seen the movie before, and I watched that show.
Okay.
And it's wacky as hell.
Yeah.
It's so surrealist and weird because they play themselves as kids.
Right.
It's so weird. And then I didn't know about like the talking can and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
It's strange.
It's a weird show, but I watched the movie after and I was like, oh, okay, I get
Wet
it.
Hot American Summer. I've seen Wet Hot American Summer at least 5 times growing up. Like I've seen it within the past 5 years. And it's like one of those movies where like it will just leave my brain and I'm like, I forgot what that movie was about.
Yeah,
like,
that movie is so insane.
Yeah, it's just really wacky.
The show is too. It's just completely bonkers. I feel like I had another. Oh, I was triggered because I thought of Hot Noah. Did you know he's playing He-Man? How weird is that?
Why is he playing He-Man?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, it's a different take on He-Man, I guess.
Get that fucking the Russian dude from Creed 2.
Yeah.
That motherfucker should be playing He-Man.
He could play He-Man. Can he grow his hair out? Be He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he straight? He's not. Is he Russian? He's not Russian.
I think he's like Ukrainian
or
or something like that.
Okay.
I might be totally wrong. I don't even remember his name. I'll find
Yeah,
out.
why?
I'll find out.
That motherfucker should be He-Man.
I'll research. Creed 2, dude, that movie was very good. I love Creed films. Florian Mouton, sounds French. Florian, dude.
Florian mounting you?
Mouton, also known as Florian Big Nasty.
Ryan goes in you. Goes in you, goes in you.
I saw some. Oh no, I can't. We're not talking about Game of Thrones anymore. Never mind. I can't spoil Game of Thrones. Oh man, I wish I could find it. Born in the family of sports. Bro, he went to the University of Munich. Is that Germany? Doesn't have his where he was born in here.
I feel like I was a He-Man
I don't know a lot about
fan
He-Man.
when I was a kid because like I remember specifically building swords out of. Do you remember Kinects? Like the toys Kinects?
Heck yeah.
I I remember building swords and then like holding it above my head and like saying He-Man shit.
Did you say by the power of Grayskull?
I remember doing that shit. I remember doing that shit in elementary school and I got in trouble for it.
What? Why?
Because I was building swords.
So?
They
it's
thought
fucking
I was
cool.
Nah, dude, they thought I was fucking staging a coup.
No,
I was fucking going
miss me with
gonna
that.
assassinate the teachers and shit.
What?
I had that and I had a little fucking a T-Rex tooth necklace. It wasn't an actual
like
T-Rex
a shark tooth necklace?
but it was a T-Rex tooth because it was like around the time like one of the Jurassic Parks came out or something. And I remember losing that necklace.
You just reminded me that I had a tooth growing up. That, oh my God, I forgot about this tooth. This thing's freaking like this big, dude.
And it was like on a necklace or something?
No,
or just like
I just had it in like a box,
Right.
like somewhere in my room or something like
Right.
that. But I was like, this tooth is, I found it like on
Oh.
a beach.
Oh.
It was just a giant tooth and it was black.
You think it was a shark tooth?
I think it was a shark tooth. I don't know if it was a shark tooth, but it was cool.
Mm-hmm. No, it was like it might have
Were
been.
you a shark tooth necklace kid?
No.
No? Could
I
see
think-
you being a shark tooth necklace kid.
No, dude, I think that I wanted to be. I never got it. You know what I
Okay,
mean? By the
okay.
time I had the chance, it was,
You were past it. You're like, I
past
can't
it.
do that anymore.
I was like,
That's
oh,
not
man,
cool.
no.
Like that was cool when we were in middle school. Now we're in
Right.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was weird. Hot Noah playing He-Man. He's the wrong kind of hot.
Yeah, it's strange. Like
Just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about He-Man to be like
same here.
to care about it really.
Same here.
I know that I dove into He-Man lore a little bit when the show She-Ra came out on Netflix because it was such a reaction to it when the trailer came out and the character designs came out because a bunch of like neckbeards were like mad that her skirt wasn't shorter or something or she didn't have bigger boobs or some weird shit. But I was like, wait, what is She-Ra? Because like she says by the he says by the power of Grayskull and she says by something else similar, and I was like, is that like He-Man? And I looked it up and they're like connected and they're like siblings or something like that. I don't remember. It's weird. He-Man is wild. It's super weird.
I don't know anything about He-Man.
Let's talk about something else. What?
I was gonna bring up something completely different.
Do it.
Like just complete. Okay, so
it.
I think I've seen. You know how I've been like going through House recently, right? And
Yeah,
I'm
you've been watching a lot of House.
and like there's a lot of times like I'll justify like just completely binge watching like shows like this. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, like I'm a writer, so like I need to be watching shit, right? But like.
Hugh Laurie's a great character in that show. Dr. House, great character.
Yeah, really interesting character, and there is good writing.
He's also great performance.
It's also preposterous. Like it's not a realistic show in any sense. And it's also like super interesting to see like how you can pivot off of like basically what is a procedural crime drama, but instead of not having it be a crime, it's a medical diagnosis. That's exactly what the show is.
Because he thinks like a detective.
He's a detective.
That's interesting.
That's exactly what the show
That's
is.
interesting.
Like and if you look at the structure of every episode and you compare it to like a CSI.
So instead of like a whodunit
Law
and
and
like
Order, SVU,
following red
right?
herrings
Like-
and finding the wrong clues and then eventually getting to the killer or whatever,
Right, but like-
he's misdiagnosing or thinking it's the wrong thing
That
until he
even-
figures out the right thing.
But even the cold opens that you get before the show openings,
Does he
right?
ever-
They always show the crime, right? Which is the person.
They show how the person ends up in the
a
hospital.
person fainting. Like,
Interesting.
You know, like they're at a fucking swimming event and then they fucking they can't swim back up to the top of the pool or whatever. Like the fuck it is. But yeah, like you're seeing the crime happen and then they have to figure out figure out who the killer is.
Interesting.
Which is this diagnosis. But regardless, so I just finished up watching season 4. This isn't going to be a spoiler episode, right? But there is the penultimate.
Honestly, I think if you spoiled House, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's been out for a long time.
Okay. The last 2 episodes of season 4 were fucking incredible. But I'm going to talk about the penultimate episode, right? The second to last episode of season 4. It's called House's Head, and it's something that I've realized how much I like this type of episode.
It's like a Being John Malkovich.
I mean, no.
Good, because that was a complete stab in the dark.
No.
Never even seen Being
I'll tell
John
you what it
Malkovich,
is.
but I know it's like a weird...
It's
House's Head made me think of.
I forget the actual title of the episode, but is it Abed's Unforgettable Christmas? Or
Yes.
Abed's Amazing Christmas?
One of the best Community episodes.
One of the best Community episodes of all time, right? But like, it is this episode of you seeing a character and their subconscious completely realized, right? So you're basically exploring their subconscious in a super strange way, and you're seeing how
Uncontrollable Christmas.
Uncontrollable Christmas. There we go. Also, one of my favorite episodes of television of all time.
Well,
I
'cause-
fucking
yeah.
love it.
Abed is one of, if not your favorite television character of all time.
True, and what you're seeing is like Abed's subconscious completely realize, like, and you're like, why is he envisioning these things? Why does he like?
Yeah.
And it just gives you so much information about the character, at least if it's done really well. And this episode, House's Head, exactly like that, dude. Like, from the jump of this episode, I was like, this is different than anything that I've seen in this show. As far as the music, as far as like, because like there's times when House hallucinates and shit like that throughout but like there's times when you know, like he in order to deal with like migraines or something, he takes like
drugs.
He takes like LSD.
He's an addict, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an addict. He
painkillers.
Yeah, painkillers.
It's like a big part of his character.
But like from the jump, like with this the music, and like they did this really cool, like just a lot of really interesting stuff with lighting and stuff that like just really fucking drew me into the episode. I was like, this is different than everything that and halfway through the episode, I was like, I have to fucking look this up on IMDb so I remember this episode, because it's fucking phenomenal.
So is it like
IMDb,
a dream?
I mean, I don't want to go too much into like the plot details, but basically he loses his memory for a certain reason, and he had major head trauma. Loses his memory, and he has to basically explore his subconscious, and they do it through hypnosis.
Ooh, cool.
He at one point he goes into a float tank.
Okay.
And fucking in order to like get to this place where he can remember, because he has to access his memory in order to save this one person. And the way that they fucking do it is incredible. And I looked it up on IMDb, 9.8 on IMDb, dog. It's fucking incredible, man. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it.
Ooh, yeah, that's cool. I thought of another thing that I heard this week that I thought was interesting. I was listening, I don't remember what it was, but like somebody said, they brought up the idea that there's no more movie stars. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because like when I think of, I'm like, I can name like a bajillion actors that I really like. But also like you and me are like definitely above average consumers, right? But then like the person made the point of like being like back in like the 80s, maybe even the 90s, there were certain actors that everyone went to see their thing, no matter what the thing was, right?
Okay. That
doesn't happen anymore. And I was like, that's kind of true. You don't go see every like, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan movie because it's Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? It's an interesting idea.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I might not be right, but I think it's interesting.
Like, isn't Dwayne Johnson doing that?
That's a good counterpoint. The Rock, I didn't think of The Rock.
No one goes to see Rock movies for the Rock movie. Like, you go because it's The Rock. And he's never doing anything different.
Hey, man. In Jumanji, he was a nerd.
Like, do you think that he was talking about, like, method acting in a way? Like,
I think he was talking
the
about more
evolution of
serious
method acting?
films, I think, probably.
Maybe.
I think it was Tony Kornheiser on his podcast. I heard it. So I would assume he's not even thinking about anything in the realm of Dwayne Johnson.
I would say The Rock is probably like the biggest example of that, right?
How weird is that?
Tom Cruise?
Somebody said Tom Cruise, and he was like, it's only outside of Mission Impossible, like now, like how did Jack Reacher do? You know what I mean? Outside of the tentpole, that's what he said. Outside of like the tentpole franchises, what actors are drawing people into things because they're the actor. So like you can't be like, oh, I saw every Marvel movie. I love Robert Downey Jr. Did you see The Judge? Because you love Robert Downey Jr.? Nope. Sort of that thing. I think that's interesting.
I think that's a weird thing to look at in retrospect because I think that a lot of those movie stars that he might be bringing up, right? Like, did he give any?
They
examples?
probably had things back then that people didn't go see.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
And that you're not thinking about because as time moves on, we forget.
I don't know though, man. That dude's memory is
projects.
crazy. So if he was like,
did he bring up any examples of it?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the context of the conversation. I just was reminded about it.
Yeah, I don't really agree with it.
That's interesting though, because I've heard other people with that take. I've heard other people talk about the fact that there's no more movie stars in the way that there used to be.
I think the landscape of movies and TVs changed.
I think what happened is like it used to be like there was the cream of the crop, right? And then it was like a bunch of people down here. Now I think that there's just more people here.
Like there's more parity.
Yeah, there's just more accessibility and there's more stuff being made.
Yeah.
And because television has caught up to film in terms of
reach, cinematics.
I was gonna say like in terms of importance, like it used to be like if you were on a television show, it was like you're not good enough to be in the movies.
Yeah.
Now it's great actors are going to television because there's more to be done there. There's more time to explore stuff.
Yeah.
As an actor, it's interesting.
That's where a lot of the good writing is.
Mm-hmm. Because movies are so like money, so dependent on the money they make. They can there's an entire middle ground of film that is almost never made anymore. So it's either mega blockbusters or super tiny indie films, nothing in between, because it's too much of a risk money-wise, which is sad. Hey, the Knicks didn't win the lottery.
No, they did not.
That was funny.
They're so rude, dude. You're so mean.
I'm just saying, they had an 86% chance of not getting the first pick.
Fucking Spike Lee is gonna be fucking like, you're gonna wake up tomorrow morning and like Spike Lee is gonna be hovering over your bed.
I guess that's technically possible. We're in LA.
He lives in New York.
Oh, that's true. He could be out here though. He could very easily be out here.
Very easily be out here.
Yeah, he could very easily be out here. That'd be super weird. I'd be surprised. I'd be like, Spike, what's up, man? He'd be like, you were shit talking the Knicks. I'd be like, that's true, I was. But here's the thing, right? I feel like the presentation of the lottery was weird. I don't know if you watched it or not. It was weird.
I did.
The way that like everyone in the room could hear the analysts was weird. Although I found Zach Lowe's thing so endearing. Did you see his like walk and talk he did with his hair all fucked up?
Yeah.
I thought that was so fucking funny.
There was a lot of elements that made it weird, right? Like it was like all of these things coming together made it super weird. The fact that everyone in the room could hear
them.
Like,
so they're just
the
like
entire broadcast.
We're talking about Zion, and Zion's just like, I can hear you talking about me.
That on top of the complete Zion mania.
Yeah.
Like I texted
over obsession.
With
Zion.
I remember texting my brother like when they were doing the RJ Barrett Zion Williamson interview.
Hey RJ, what do you think about Zion's journey? What are you doing? What is happening? Who did that interview? Was that Rachel Nichols?
Rachel Nichols was not. Dude, Rachel Nichols did not do well in that.
That's so weird.
But here's the thing: I don't think I'm wondering how much of it is her and how much of it is ESPN being like, hey, this is Zion's show.
You have to push this, yeah.
So yeah, it.
This is the kind of things that when like the ESPN revolt people come out and they're like, ESPN sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, not really. There's good stuff on ESPN still. Right. Like you're overreacting.
But that
that was like so weird. But The Jump is a good show. It's weird. Like their happy hour stuff is great. Yeah. High Noon through PTI, those shows are great. Scott Van Pelt Sports Center is great.
Right.
But sometimes they do have the sort of the modern newsy approach to reporting sports a little bit. You know what I mean? The oversaturation of the hot topic.
Oversaturation of the hot topic and just like complete sensationalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That being said, the new lottery is great and I love it.
So all right, so like I've been going back and forth as far as like your first reaction to this was like nobody's going to tank anymore.
Teams won't tank as hard anymore.
Right.
They'll tank to. It would be like 30 to 35 games. We'll be fine.
Right. But you were like fuck yeah, like that's a good.
I'm
thing
saying go even crazier. Kill tanking. Kill it.
Yeah.
Murder it forever.
Right. Do you think that it will hurt small market teams?
Not necessarily. I mean,
like do you think? Okay, so like
the two smallest markets in the NBA just won the lottery.
I understand that. Small market is a bad example, but the fact that like this kind of stuff can happen, the fact that like the team that got LeBron got a higher pick than the team that lost LeBron,
mm-hmm.
like is that necessarily fair? And I would bring up, so like obviously like I'm not a huge fan of tanking, right? And I think that the default mindset of my team should be tanking because we're not going to win a championship and we're not contending for a championship.
Hate it.
It's fucking annoying, especially when you haven't made the playoffs for 7 years,
mm-hmm.
right? Like,
hey man, you made it. You did it.
We made it, baby.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like it, and it's so weird that like these same people will be like, but I really love watching the Kings, you know? And it's like, what are the Kings doing? They're like they're a fucking super young team that hasn't made the playoffs in a long time. You know,
they didn't tank this year.
Kings for sure didn't tank this year. But like I'll bring up
they didn't have any reward for tanking.
I'll bring up this example right here. The Hawks weren't necessarily tanking this year either.
No, they just suck.
They played really poorly at the beginning.
They already tanked. They like tanked to make their team as bad as it is now. The part of tanking isn't just trying to lose; it's having a bad roster. But with young pieces you like.
True.
That's tanking.
Wait, so are you saying in a way the Hawks were tanking?
Yeah. They're in the process of tanking.
Okay, so I think that you're skewing the definition of tanking here. Because they did not tank this year. They tried to win.
But I'm saying part of tanking is going into the season with a roster incapable of winning lots of games.
So, like,
on purpose.
Last season, they tanked.
Sure.
Right.
To get with the Trae Young, whatever draft pick that was, third or whatever.
Well, they had the
third fifth and swapped to the third, or had third swapped to the
third.
Fifth. Yeah.
The third swapped to the fifth so they could draft Trae Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got them an extra pick this year, too. They have 3 first-round picks this year, right?
I'm not sure if they have 3 first-round picks. They have 2 top 10 picks.
Ballin'.
I think there's only one team that has 3 first-round picks. The Celtics have 3 first-round picks.
Of course.
But they're all mid to late round.
Of course the Celtics do.
They have like the 14th, the 20th, and the 22nd or something like that.
It's not going to get UAD, homie.
We're going to talk about that in a second. But my point is that the Hawks were a team that just sucked at the beginning of the year. Obviously, like their roster isn't really well constructed.
They were a lot better at the end of the year when Trae was popping off.
Exactly, but they started playing a lot better and actually started winning some games. And they were an exciting team, and they were competing against good teams.
I heard a lot of takes wanting them to win the lottery because how fun Trae and Zion would be together. And I was like, that's interesting.
I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, it's such a good fit. I don't think that him and John Collins is a super good fit.
Him and John Collins would be weird because they're both under.
They're
both 4-5s.
To me, I think they should both be 4s. Yeah. But Zion being like a 4 or 5 to me, it's like I'm not sure if I agree with it. I want to see him do it in the NBA before.
You can do that Draymond shit.
Huh?
Play 5 in small lineups.
I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying I want to see it.
He's for sure gonna. That's what's gonna happen.
You think that he's gonna be Draymond?
I don't know if he's gonna be Draymond, but he's gonna play that
Draymond
5 in a small lineup. Yeah,
he's played Draymond.
The small lineup 5. Supposed to probably start at the 4.
I don't know.
And if he never develops a good jumper, he'll have to do that more and more, or at least be on the floor with 4 other shooters.
I agree with you. I'm
like
also,
Giannis.
Okay, I'm getting back to my Hawks point here, right? They were slated to have the 5th pick and the 8th pick, right? But because of the chaos of this lottery, they slid back to the 8th pick and the 10th pick. Is this fucking over the teams that actually might need the restocking of talent?
But I think you could just counter that by saying the Memphis Grizzlies and the Pelicans also need the restocking of talent.
Do they need it more than teams like Phoenix and Cleveland and
I mean, who's on the Grizzlies besides Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Michael Conley,
Not for long.
DeLon Wright.
Who?
DeLon Wright.
Who?
Oh my God, dude! Do not disrespect DeLon Wright like that. He's a good player.
He's a role player.
Huh?
He's a role player.
Yeah, he's a role player.
He's a role player.
I still think that the
So I used to think the lottery was stupid because I grew up watching football, and I was like, no, the worst team gets the first pick because they're the worst team and they need it the most.
right.
But now that I've had a taste of the chaos, and because it's become a thing to take, it's okay. So I think of tanking like you know this thing that kids do, like when their parents set a rule, and you're a kid and you find a loophole to the rule, and you're like, they're like, you can't fight with your brother under my roof, so you take him out back and you beat him up in the backyard. So you're like, I didn't break your rules. I'm a good kid.
Okay.
That's tanking. Being a tanking team is like being that annoying kid who's finding loopholes in the rules. You know what I'm saying? You're taking advantage of something that isn't implicitly wrong because you figured out a way. It's like a kid who's too smart for his own good and getting himself into trouble. So to me, the more steps you can take to just make tanking not a viable option, do it.
I don't mind the idea of tanking for a short term, like I think that the Grizzlies are probably a good example, right? Because they
if this works, if Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. pan out and they can build around them,
and they trade away Michael Conley for some probably some good young pieces, whoever they fucking trade him to. That and who knows what's going to happen. So like their pick next year is top 6 protected. I think this year it was top 8 protected. Next year it's top 6 protected. If it's anything below that, it's going to go to the Celtics. And after that, it's completely unprotected.
6 through 30, it goes to the Celtics. Or 7
Yes.
through 30, yeah. Fuck the Celtics. Also, like, your point about, like, the teams that need it, don't mention the Suns and the Cavs to me.
Okay.
Get out with them. Get the fuck out with them.
Why?
Suns have had how many number 3 picks in the last 1 billion years, and they still suck?
Number 1?
The Cavs have had the number 1 pick how many fucking times, and they still suck?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have LeBron, they're garbage.
Right.
Get out with them. Find better people to run your organization.
It's hard to fucking run a team.
Yeah, it's true. But like,
It's hard to run a team.
To me, that's like
I still don't think that warrants them getting fucked over.
I don't think it's.
They're a poorly run team.
But the thing is, like, I think everyone 1 through, I would say anyone 1 through probably like 9 or 10, you could argue is a poorly run team.
Mm-hmm.
Just being a poorly run team.
I'm not 100% on the like. Oh, it should be just like the NFL, where the worst team.
Now part of me is like, dude, put a lottery in the NFL too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Do it everywhere. It's fun. It's crazy.
NFL's different.
NFL's very different.
Yeah.
But like, it's so fun. 1, it's chaotic and fun. 2, it makes tanking less of a viable option. Which, I mean, we are out paying people millions of dollars, sometimes tens of millions of dollars, to play a sport for entertainment. The least we can expect of the teams is to try to win the games, right? Mm-hmm. Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
To think that.
My issue with tanking isn't as much like I don't give a shit if the fucking Phoenix Suns tank. I don't care. But like, do I think that the worst teams should probably get the most fair shake? Yeah, maybe.
I think they should have the best chance, and they do. I like that they made it the bottom 3 have the same chance. Mm-hmm. It's even better.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But there's a part of me, and I'm not saying they should do this, but there's a part of me that's like, just make like 1 through 5 all have like a 10% chance, and then like 6 through 10 all have like an 8% chance, and just go completely bonkers with it.
You know, one thing that I'm hearing a lot about this draft that I think it's really annoying me.
So most people think it's a 1-player draft, a 1B player draft. But you've gone deep into the.
It's grown into this is a 3-player draft.
Yeah.
And
Zion, Ja, and RJ.
Yeah, outside of these 3 players, like I hate the term 3-player draft, and I hate it when people bring up the term like this is a weak draft. Like obviously there's going to be like a
we've been spoiled the past couple of years though.
True. But this is like there's obviously a variation of like the different levels of talent that you can get in each draft, right? But usually, I think when people look back on weak drafts, right, what they're actually seeing is not their, like it's not the lack of talent. It's the lack of people's ability to gauge that talent. Like drafts like the fucking, what was it, the 2013 draft that had Victor Oladipo, who got drafted number 1. Was that Anthony Bennett's here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Good work, Cavs.
Considered a weak draft, right? But like when you look back on it, right, there was all of these deeper picks that ended up coming.
Is that the Giannis draft?
Obviously,
You went
Giannis is
15?
the biggest
Yeah.
one. Like, and if you compare the high level talent of that draft compared to all of the rest of the draft, it's pretty much the same. It's just that people couldn't fucking gauge the talent, right? And I think that's what's going to happen with this draft.
So you're saying the Heat are going to get an All-Star at 13?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that is possible.
Hell yeah.
I think that is possible. I think that people I think that the absolute certainty that people are displaying when they're gauging this talent, that's only been playing fucking in college for 1 year. So like someone like Cam Reddish, like the fact that people are so with absolute certainty being like
he's going to be
this
a
guy
bust.
is only this guy's going to be a bust. This guy's only going to do like that. I find it so fucking ridiculous. I find it absurd. Because people are just so wrong so often.
So here's what I'm going to say. The first thing is that the NBA draft historically doesn't have a lot of gems. It's only 2 rounds for a reason. One of the reasons is there's not that many players on every team, but also there's just not that many people that pan out. There's maybe, I would guess, between 3 and 5 all-star caliber players. And that's like, you have to make 1 all-star in your life, right? In each draft. And like any draft in any league, in any sport, they pop up from different spots. There might be 1 in the second round, might be 1 at 15, there might be 1 at 22, and 2 in the top 5.
Right.
That's how drafts work. It's part of the pseudoscience of scouting in sports.
Yeah.
It's never exact. So, like, that's one thing to realize when looking at the NBA draft is I think people, the expectation has to be lowered to be like, we just need role players. Can you be a role player in the NBA? That's what I care about.
Right.
Especially after you get past like the 5th pick. Mm-hmm. Like if you can be a role player after that, solid, dude. Good work. I think you go a little far in like, you love fucking everybody. You're like, yo, all these motherfuckers are fucking great. Nasir Little, great. Everybody's great. But like, it's like you're finding the positives in their game, and that's fine. Yeah. But like you have to, it's like people, like it's the job of these people is to find what's wrong with players, right? And then think, is this something we can fix or not? Or find their strengths and say, is this something we can enhance and build around and work with or not? So it's like a weird middle ground, I think, with like the frustration you're feeling towards the over bashing of prospects and the reality of how many prospects usually pan out and trying to figure out which ones are.
My problem is not sure, I can be like overly optimistic with prospects, right? Like just because it's fun to me, right? But my problem is like the displaying of it with absolute certainty.
That's obviously no one actually knows anything. Yeah. And like the don't get worked up about armchair scouts on Instagram comments and in Reddit threads. It's just, what do they know? I mean, you can look at like KOC shit and he's, educated and done research or,
But even KOC is like
other...
Because KOC can be straight up wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anyone can be wrong. Yeah. Like even the professionals who get paid to do it. Yeah. Some motherfucker drafted Anthony Bennett number 1. Like people, they're always going to be wrong. Yeah. Was that David Griffin? The dude who's being touted as like this genius that's going to save the Pelicans? I don't know. The dude who took Anthony Bennett number 1?
So I wanted to talk about this, right? So we brought up Zion, right? And like how he's going to be utilized. So like I think that potential fault in like seeing him as like being utilized.
You know
in
my
sort of
hot take?
Draymond kind of role. What's that?
I don't think Zion's a sure thing.
Dog, have you thought about that?
Yeah.
About like Zion, like maybe we're kind of.
This happens all the time. Like it's like this is the best prospect since LeBron. They said about Ben Simmons. They said about Andrew Wiggins. Like people just do it. They say this is the best prospect since X. In the NFL, they do it with Peyton Manning. They say this is the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning. And the only one who's really lived up to that is Andrew Luck. But he has injury problems.
Uh-huh.
So it's like this weird thing where like everyone's always looking for that next this dude for two reasons. One, because you want to draft really good players. Two, the NBA wants dudes to be hyped up
right
to become the next guy, right? So
they're always
if they say Zion is the next dude, he's the next face of the NBA. So basically it's like when LeBron leaves, it's Giannis. And after Giannis, it's Zion. He's the next dude to be the next dude.
Yeah.
He's the prince that was promised. I don't think Zion's 100% a thing. I think he'll be great. I assume like he should be great. He's got all the physical tools he needs to be great. He seems to have all of the mental and sort of like the happiness level of the type of person who should succeed. He seems like a really hard worker. He seems like he loves basketball.
Right.
And he seems like he can handle the spotlight well.
Yeah.
All of these things. Seems like it should work out. But he can't shoot. And, you know, how much is his game going to translate to playing against bigger and stronger and faster grown-ass men?
Right.
We'll see. I don't know.
I think that his like
It's hard to bully dudes in the NBA the way he did in college.
true. But I do think that his size and athleticism is going to just have a
Yeah,
floor.
absolutely.
He's going
It
to have a
should.
baseline of being
Yeah.
a good player.
Plus, he plays defense.
Well-
That'll always get you a job.
Well, just the fact that he has the motor that he has,
Yep.
man. Like I wish that you could just fucking take that out and put it into like certain players.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man. I fucking love that about like it's one of the reasons why I love Russ, man. Like just like that. I love guys with super.
It's
like, crazy
and there's
high
something
motor.
extra endearing when they're really talented. When they're really talented players that have really just high energy players.
Yeah.
Because they're the type of people that could coast. Like you could make the argument Cam Reddish did. You could argue that Cam Reddish doesn't play with that same fervor. And also his shooting percentages were nowhere near what people expected.
Right.
Which is alarming when you are projected as a shooter. I will say, though, that like the people that are like, oh, man, the Knicks got... like, RJ's a solid player. He was a dude who, before the season started, people thought was going to be the number one pick.
I mean, they thought they were going to, like, fucking, they only talked about the Knicks getting Zion throughout the entire.
Yeah, it's just... But Zion has... This is the problem that RJ has, I think. See what I'm doing right now?
Uh-huh.
RJ's got tunnel vision.
And he's got blinders on.
RJ's got tunnel vision, dude.
Yeah.
You got to fix that.
Dog, do you know that Cam Reddish played in high school with Mo Bamba?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I just learned
Is there a song about him, though? Cam's calling.
On that note, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. We can take a break.
We back. We back. Oh, man, there's a new Chance song. I haven't listened to it. Saying we back.
There's a lot of fucking good rap music out right now, dude.
A bunch of albums dropped in the past couple weeks.
Let's talk about this.
This.
What do you think of Logic's new album?
Not a fan.
I wasn't sure how like how
Not
you
a
were
fan.
gonna. I was.
I liked the last song a lot. Thought the last song
I
was
like
good.
the first song a lot.
He always makes
Homicide?
good first songs. That one had already come out, hadn't it?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah,
with
that was
Eminem
one of the
and
singles.
Chris
Oh,
Elliott.
that's the second song, I thought.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. No, yeah.
Whatever.
It's
The
whatever.
one with Eminem.
With Chris D'Elia, the most important part. I got napkins.
My dude, Kate thought that was Eminem doing like a weird
bit?
Yeah.
That's funny. Nah, dog. That's so fucking cool to me that they put that in there.
It's
I love
hilarious.
it. It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's so funny. Yeah. This album to me is like, it's the Logic that the internet thinks Logic is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Like I've always been like, no, like you're overreacting to, and like he obviously like he makes stuff that like, he changes his style so often. Like he's like, I'm gonna make, what does he call, like I'll make boom bap and then I'll make a radio song, whatever he says. I don't know words, but like this album, I was just like, it sounds like someone who's been trying to make an album a year for like 7 straight years, and should probably take a little bit more time between his albums.
You know what I think that like is really disappointing about it? Do you think that there's any shred of emotion in that album?
I think the last song had some, and that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last song harkened back to like a Tits era or The Incredible. That was weird. People that don't The Incredible True Story.
Yeah.
Or Under Pressure sort of era Logic song, which is my favorite.
Yeah, man. Like the album like just really lacks like two of the biggest factors of why I like Logic, and it's just the emotional resonance that he has as well as his creativity. And it didn't have either.
Yeah,
two of
every
those
song
things.
is just really kind of bland seeming. Nothing is connected. It's like for someone who takes so much pride, like there's literally releasing a single before the album is complete is like dropping a trailer for a movie you have yet to shoot. Like for someone who puts so much pride into the
thematic
thematic overall connection of his projects, this doesn't seem to have it. And like it seems like someone who made another album that released 2 months earlier and wrote a novel at the same time,
right,
and is trying to make a movie with J.J. Abrams. Like it just seems like someone who couldn't put all of their effort into this thing.
Yeah. Well, and
there's like he kept like flub ups in it. How weird! It's so weird. Like, you know, I mean, he does that thing where he raps super fast and he's great at it. But there's like ones where he like noticeably messes up. And apparently it's like he like records on his tour bus and he just does it in one take and then he's done. And it's like part of his process. And he's like, oh fuck it, I'll just keep it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And
not that
also
like that can't be part of your thing, but it just doesn't fit. Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
like I think releasing music with
it
flaws
has to have other things with it, right? So like a good example is Africarian, right? J. Cole's rap, right?
So
because
good.
like when he says "manama," like he doesn't. I'm not doing a thing. Like he's like supposed to be saying the N word there, but like he's just saying "manama."
Yeah.
But like though it's so well composed and so well written and beautiful. Like
that's one of the best guest verses ever.
Yeah.
By the way,
it's probably one of my favorite verses of all
features
time.
ever. Wait a minute. I just realized something.
What?
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, the newest album, is his 6th album or some shit like that. 6th or 7th album. But he has a core, like, it's weird. Like, Logic has, like, a Star Wars syndrome. He has a Skywalker series syndrome. Under Pressure leads directly into The Incredible True Story, right? The Incredible True Story led directly into everybody. Yeah. Not Africarian, everybody. Which at the end has that outro verse, but it also serves as an intro verse to his next album. This didn't have that. I didn't even think about that. So this isn't part of his core series of albums based on his own history. But it does have a weird Thalia thing at the end. I don't know. It's weird. Trying to link into like the lore of Logic's art. Yeah, it's weird. And like I was extra bummed because I was so pleasantly surprised by Supermarket. I liked it so much, and I'm like,
I think that's the thing. I think that like that emotion and that creativity just went to another venue. I just don't think that it went into this album. So it's like when I listened to it, like I turned it on. I drove to school, and like by like the halfway there, I was like, I want this album to be over.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep listening to this.
Yep.
And I pushed myself through it and kept listening to the rest of the album. And I'm probably like, I made a playlist with all of the new rap albums that have come out recently. Fucking Schoolboy Q's new album, the Pivot Gang album.
How is that? I haven't listened to it yet.
I haven't listened to it yet. Fucking Tyler the Creator just dropped a new album.
Yeah, that one. That one. People were excited about that. I always get weirded out with those like company albums. You know, like Dreamville album or the Pivot, because like, or Good Music album. Like I approach it and I'm like, well, I really like J. Cole. And there's a Dreamville album, right? I've heard a couple Boz songs, but I don't really know anyone else on Dreamville. Like those albums are never really like, I never really seek them out. I'm never like, oh, I'm excited to listen to that. Like you say like, oh, a Pivot Gang album with Saba, and I'm like, who else is in Pivot Gang?
But that's the thing is that like usually, I think you have to give a little bit more chance to like these.
Well, that's the thing is like I almost never listen to new people. And part of it is like the way I consume music. I almost always listen to like albums at a time, or I have a playlist that I've made of things I know I like, and I just listen to that. Right. And I don't know. It's just I just don't expose myself to new music that often. There's just, it's like one of those things like you only have so much time. right?
You only have
to
so much
consume
time.
things, and
You only have so
I
much
don't
time,
spend
but,
a
like-
lot of it listening to new music.
But like, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have listened to Saba. You know what I mean? Like, you probably like.
Yeah, but why did I even listen to that album? It was like, I think it was like hyperbole. Like, I saw a bunch of people be like, "This is the album of the year," and I was like, I've seen so many people say that I have to check it out, basically. And I didn't even know who Saba was. Like, I was like, this is that dude who sings on a Chance the Rapper song.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He's a rapper? But yeah, it's like I have to be so like overloaded with like, you will like this. This is something to listen to. Like, for me to do it with music, it's just like a weird.
Yeah, for me, like, I look at, you know, the people that are on these labels, you know, like the people that J. Cole is like choosing to work with and have them on a label, like the people that Saba chooses to have on his label. I obviously haven't listened to this album yet, but like, especially everybody on fucking Dreamville, dude. Boss is fucking sick, but like, fucking.
I love that song, Tribe.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah.
But I only listened to it because J. Cole had a verse on it.
But to me, that is such an easy way to sort of find out about a new artist.
Yeah. No, I love the concept of like label companies like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on one hand, I love the Chance the Rapper independent artist thing. I think that's great. But on the other hand, like the idea of like having it's like being a sensei. It's so cool. You know what I mean? Like the idea of being like, these are my chosen disciples of music. Mm-hmm. Like, these are the people that I think represent what music should be, and I believe in their talent. That's so cool to me. Mm-hmm. But I just like I don't put enough stock in finding new artists. I'm like, I have the people that I like listening to, and it's, you know, it's fine.
Right.
But I don't
for
I
me
don't I don't besmirch anyone who is I think that's great. Listen to all the new music in the world. I think it's awesome.
Well, and I buy the like their credibility is the thing. I accept that. I accept like, okay, J. Cole, like, you like Earth Gang? I'm gonna listen to Earth Gang.
Earth Gang's cool, but I only know a few songs, but I think they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they on Dreamville too?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think they were like one of the more recent signings.
Cool.
So yeah, I was just kind of the album was dull. The Logic album.
Yeah.
Album artwork's
like,
cool.
Usually,
the fucking beats are sick.
Sykes is a
fucking Sykes.
Sam Sykes is the guy that does the art, right?
Oh.
Is that his name? That might be completely wrong.
I thought you were trying to say
no.
Six.
Six is always amazing. Six is like the most consistently
I
great.
thought you were trying to say Six. And you said
No.
Sykes.
Logic artist.
But yeah, like the fucking red skull thing that's like coming out of the side
cool.
of his head for his album artwork is really cool. Yeah, Six's beats are obviously
He's always kills it.
He's never slipped up, dude. Dude's such an amazing producer.
Does he work with anybody else?
I don't know.
I don't either. Sam Spratt. That's the artist's name. I should have saved that for a shout out. He's so good. I mean, it's only Logic's artwork, so like I don't know what else you'll find.
Yeah,
but
that's not much.
He's just really good.
I feel like that's not.
You want to go back to B-ball? You said you wanted to talk about the AD stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is our first episode since the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
yeah, the lottery was on Tuesday, so it was like a couple days after. It was like the day after we released the last episode. Oh, by the way, just lottery talk. I had to say that when I saw the final four teams that had the chance of the number one pick, I wanted the Grizzlies to get it.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that their pick would go, I think, to the Celtics if they got number one. I didn't know that. But I wanted the Grizzlies because the idea of a Jaren Jackson Jr. Zion frontcourt was so dope to me that I didn't even think about Ja Morant with J3 because that's super dope. They could be really good together. Mm-hmm. They're going to be a really good fit.
It could be fun.
I love the idea. That's like it's like this sort of like next gen idea of Marc Gasol and Mike Conley, and I love that. You know what I mean? It's like let's take the grit and grind era to 2020.
Dog, you know what? Like, I completely forgot that Mike Conley played at Ohio State with Greg Oden when they used to fucking battle it out with the UF boys, the fucking national champions.
Joakim and
Brewer
and Al Horford. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Weird.
Yeah, dude. Because I remember fucking Greg Oden being on that team.
How good was Greg Oden in college?
Fucking good as shit.
Fucking giant man.
Not good enough though. Not good enough.
Go Gator. Good enough to go number one. His knees weren't good enough though. Very specifically
to stick around.
Yeah, that's a bummer. He just graduated. That was pretty cool. I saw that Like went back to school,
Oh, that's cool.
back to Ohio State. That's cool. Yeah. So like the implications in the league-wide NBA thing of the lottery is essentially, one, Mike Conley's almost guaranteed to get traded somewhere. My dream spot would probably be Indiana or Utah. I think those would both be cool places. Pairing him with Oladipo or with Donovan Mitchell would be really fun.
Like Indiana could also give them like DeMontis Sabonis or something.
If they want to get rid of one of their big dudes, either Sabonis or Miles Turner, yeah. Yeah. You see Sabonis is one of the finalists for six man with the two Clippers with Trez and Lou Will. Lou Will's gonna win again. Like he's like the king of being six man, like six man like Lou Will. But yeah, so like Mike Conley's gonna get traded, but the Anthony Davis thing, David Griffin, the new president of basketball operations, and the new GM they just hired like yesterday, the dude from the Nets, they're like committed to trying to get him to stay, which I think is honorable. It's an honorable goal.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, David Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
You have an MVP candidate on your team, and you don't want to let him go. That's great. Good for you. But if we are under the assumption that the bridge is burned, right? Most likely, what would we like to see happen? Well, or what's feasible? The most obvious options are the Celtics, the Lakers, the Clippers. I don't really know who else. I feel like there's another big one. Oh, the Knicks. And then, somebody could pop out of nowhere with crazy offers. I don't know who. Who do you think has the best chance of making that happen? Ignoring the fact that there's a report that the owner said that she would trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers over her dead body. That is apparently untrue, but it's also hysterical.
Right. If I were the Pelicans, there's a lot of factors here, obviously, like depending on what the Celtics are willing to give up. But I think probably one of the biggest what if factors is Brandon Ingram's health.
Apparently he's fine. Apparently he won't have issues with blood clot stuff. It was like a random thing. I saw
because that was the same thing that ended Chris Bosh's career, right?
Yes, but Chris Bosh has like a blood thing, like an issue with his blood, and Brandon Ingram doesn't have that. From what I saw,
it's not the same. Just kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like a freak thing that happened to him.
Right. If that
pray for him blood clots.
I think if that is the case, and the Celtics aren't willing to give me Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, then I'm probably going to give the edge to the Lakers.
Do you think that the Celtics offering Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and like 22 or 14 or whatever the other one
they could legit like offer them like 4 first-round picks?
That's true because they have so many future first-round picks.
They have 3 first-round picks this year.
Yeah, but miss me with the post-20s. Miss me with them. I don't care about them.
You don't care about them?
No. If I'm the Pelicans, I don't care about them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, we've got Memphis's first-round pick next year, you can entice me because there's a good chance Memphis is in the lottery, and as we know now, that could mean anything.
Mm-hmm. Or like if they're in the top 6, right? That following year you have an unprotected first round pick from Memphis.
Exactly. And they're still probably not going to be that good yet. They'll be like pretty good. You get like 12 odds, but then like maybe something freaky happens and you get a high price. Yeah, you never know. But like to me, what the Knicks have to offer you is Mitchell, maybe Dennis Smith Jr., who I would think is probably more. I know you love Frank Ntilikina.
Obviously, he's
but
a better
like
prospect.
Dennis Smith Jr. is more coveted.
Obviously, he's
easily.
a better prospect.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let my
your weird random love of Frankie Smokes. I don't understand where it came from or what it is, but you have it. It's just because he's long. That's why. Well, no, love long boys.
He has a fucking really. If you like Giannis's personality, you would like Frank Ntilikina.
These Europeans do. They're cute.
Well, like it's the way like so when that whole LeBron fiasco happened between him and his Cantor and LeBron, like. You got to see 2 sides of Frankie that I just really enjoyed. One was the side on the court when he literally like pushed LeBron out of the way.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
To get to the
and people were like, "Get this scrub out of here."
Well, the thing was, like, I was like, this dude is standing up for himself.
No, yeah,
I
that's
like
great.
That.
It's great.
You know, like I like that kind of grit. And that's something that Giannis would do. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to let anything get in his way.
Giannis is very much take no prisoners.
Oh, yeah,
that dude is hardcore on the court. Like, he's one of those dudes like within the lines. He's a different person.
But like when it pivoted to like off the court, right? He was being interviewed, like all of these cameras in his face, and he was so doe-eyed in his reaction to like
what is all this attention?
To like you're in a beef with LeBron. Like, how do you feel about it? And he's like,
I'm French, dude. I don't know.
Like he just it didn't. He was just like, no, like he was in my way.
Yeah,
you know,
I just was like
that.
know.
And obviously, Enes Kanter was talking shit like oh, he's not gonna.
Kanter's always stands up for his boys. I respect that.
I like that.
Yeah, dude. There's an amazing Greek commercial starring Giannis and his brother. Which brother is it? I can't remember. He's got like 4 brothers. But it's a milk commercial. And it's like this soup. It's like beautifully shot. There's like really cool. There's a point where there's 2 kids playing young Giannis and young Giannis's brother, and it's them talking. He's like, "Oh, you want to play? But dunks only." And then he's like, "Drink some milk or something," or like, "You play for the milk," something like that. But then there's just like these montages of them like training, like young them and modern and current them. And there's a shot of young Giannis with this dark lighting, and there's like one light behind him, and his shadow is on the ground, and he holds his arms out, and the shadow becomes the Bucks logo, and it's awesome. It's such a cool shot. I was like, how do you have such a cool shot in a Greek milk commercial? I couldn't believe it. It's great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the implications on the lottery. So the Knicks can offer you Dennis Smith Jr. His name's not Dennis Mitchell. It's Mitchell Robinson.
There you go.
Dennis Mitchell is somebody. That's a real person. I don't know who it is, though.
I don't know.
Mitchell Robinson, Dennis Smith Jr., and essentially RJ Barrett, right?
Yeah.
So, like, to me, it's enticing. The idea of keeping Zion and RJ together is, like, kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's like cool, but do they fit well in the NBA is a long-term issue, right?
True.
But a Zion Mitchell Robinson front court could be a lot of fun. Blocks on blocks on blocks. Take a flyer on Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah, maybe. I think they'd have to throw in more than that for the Knicks.
So you would prefer that over the Lakers?
No, I'm just going through the options.
Okay.
I think the Lakers have the best option. If I'm the Clippers, I'm not doing it.
I think the Lakers have I think the thing that pushed them over the top was getting the 4th overall.
If I'm the Clippers, I'm not doing it. I took 2 games from the Warriors without a superstar, and I'm probably going to get one in this offseason. And I have the cap space to do it. And maybe it's not Kawhi, maybe it is, but I'm going to get somebody to help us get even better. And it's going to be most likely post-KD era Warriors. So, like, shit's on. You know what I mean? The Clippers can feel like they've got a shot.
Well, I think the thing is, like, even if they don't get anyone, like, the team that they had this year was so young, but
I feel like long-term giving up Toby and Boban will hurt them in a longer season.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Especially with Danilo Gallinari's health problems. He's always hurt. And he's their best player.
I mean, I think SGA and Landry Shamet
are I think they're going to grow great, but their team relies heavily on Danilo Gallinari scoring and Lou Will and Montrez as a pick and roll off the bench. That's like their heart and soul. But the Lakers can give you. If I'm the Lakers, dude, I'm in full fuck it mode. I'm going to give you Lonzo Ball. I'm going to give you Kyle Kuzma. I'm going to give you the number 4 pick, which you can get RJ Culver. You can get, Jarrett Culver or RJ Hunter. Or somebody, I don't know who else is around there. Romeo Langford is another dude. Is he later?
You're not going to draft him.
Yeah, there's another guard. There's another guard there, right?
Darius Garland.
Garland, that's his name. Yeah, so there's you got options there, and a lot of them are like. I feel like R.J. Hunter seems like the kind of guy who could play with LeBron.
Is his name R.J. Hunter?
I think so. The guy from Virginia.
Is his name R.J. Hunter?
Something like that. I got you. Yeah. Oh, look at that! You've got pages open of like prospects.
That's one and done shit. That's my persuasive speech that I'm doing. It's is abolishing the one and done rule in college basketball.
No, it's not RJ Hunter. It's something Hunter.
Look at just look up a mock draft. Something Hunter. I forgot the fucking first name.
But yeah, like, I'm gonna give you the 4th pick, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you Lonzo for sure. I'm gonna give you Lonzo. I'm gonna give you probably Kyle Kuzma. I don't like the thing is, like, if I'm the Lakers, I'm probably okay with giving you all 3 of them: Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma, and the 4th pick. I'm probably okay with that because it's gonna get me Anthony Davis, which we roll out with LeBron and AD, and we're already more than halfway there to being title contenders.
Right.
And then you have enough cap room to bring in somebody else, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, somebody. You can fit somebody in there. To me, that is where the Lakers, based on their current, the problem with the Lakers is they DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
They when they signed LeBron, they gave up their timetable with the young guys, right? And I think that Brandon Ingram's a good player. I think that Kyle Kuzma is a really good, like, if you brought Kyle Kuzma off the bench, he could be a really good 6th man. I think Lonzo can be a good player. I don't think Lonzo's a bust. I think Lonzo is at his floor right now is a solid role player. And if he ends up being like your backup point guard, that's fine. But I think he can be better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that he is better.
Yeah, I think he's better than that.
I like it. I'm
Plus,
high on
like,
Lonzo, though.
a Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball backcourt is nasty defensively.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
And you put behind that RJ and Brandon Ingram and, whatever wing you draft.
They're not going to have RJ.
Not RJ, Zion and Brandon Ingram. So many names.
Right. And
Zion
then
and Brandon
whoever you
Ingram
get with the 4th pick, whether it's Cam Reddish or Hunter.
Or a big if you want to start a center instead of Zion at 5. Like, and then you have Kyle Kuzma off the bench and whoever you draft who's probably a wing player. You have a good young core if you're the Pelicans. Like, don't let some petty ass revenge tour with the Lakers stop you from having a very quick young core.
Mm-hmm.
The only
and super exciting too.
Yeah,
That's a fun team.
The only debate that I've heard against choosing the Lakers over I think the Knicks are kind of the bigger one and kind of the Celtics, but not as much, is that you have to pay the Lakers guys sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have as much time. I think you have 2 years to figure out if you're going to pay Brandon Ingram big money or not.
Right. And whether he's going to be worth it.
But it also seems like Brandon Ingram is the level of caliber of player that you can sign him to the Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow deal, that 3-year, $30 million thing where you keep all the rights and you're like, okay, when you're 27 or 26 or whatever, then we'll give you if you're still around, if we still think you're great, then we give you that 5-year supermax if you've panned out. It's just I feel like the Lakers have the best thing they can give back to the Pelicans.
I would agree with you.
I'd feel bad for Kyle Kuzma because he wore the hand of the kingpin to the draft lottery, which is a hysterical joke and really cool, but you're very clearly not LeBron's hand.
Well,
and you have to be referring to LeBron because his nickname is the
simultaneously
king.
Cool. Oh, he's the hand of the king. That's it's funny. It's topical.
It's topical. But it's a very good prop. It's very well made.
Do you feel like it's kind of bitchy?
You have bias, sir. You hate Kyle Kuzma because you're an Orlando Magic fan.
I don't actually hate Kyle Kuzma.
No, but meme-wise, you hate him for the memes.
Yeah, I hate him for the meme, sure.
But
I think the window for that.
I think it was a bold choice. Is what I think.
His decision to wear the pin was a bold choice. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Bold. You're claiming yourself to be LeBron's hand. You're not.
Yeah.
If anyone on the Lakers is LeBron's hand, though, who is it?
Oh, wouldn't Rich Paul be his hand?
In real life, yes. But if you have to pick someone part of the Lakers organization.
On the roster?
Yeah.
Rondo?
Is there a single player?
Stevenson? Lance Stevens always whispering stuff into his ear, dude. So
those dudes aren't going to be back there next year, Rondo and Lance.
Nah.
No way. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be a really fun offseason where there's so many dudes that can move. So many. Zach will give me a little hope. He had I forget who the guest was, but they were talking about offseason stuff, and he was like, and we can't go through this without mentioning Pat Riley because he's going to try to do something because he always tries to do something. And I was like, yep, he'll try to do something. Probably might not work. We don't have cap room, but he'll try to do something. Sign and
Yeah.
trade, something weird.
Yeah.
Was there another basketball thing that I care? Well, the playoffs are happening. My Blazers, dude. Come on. Stop collapsing in the third quarter.
Well, fucking Dame Lillard's fucking lung is collapsed.
Apparently his rib is cracked.
Did you watch the video of what happened?
When I saw them in the game, I thought he was hurt.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that looks bad. Like, that dude fell on him in a bad way. Like,
Yeah.
but then he kept playing and seemed fine. So he's just tough as shit.
Yeah.
But like, so many of their dudes are playing through injury. They're
No matter how tough you are, dude, like it's
Yeah.
such a precise
yeah.
game, and
Yeah.
his game,
his
like,
game specifically.
That's why like I think there's like when people talk about shooting and like the importance of like these guard plays and
Mhm.
small ball and stuff like that, like there are downsides like that I don't think are talked about enough.
Mhm.
Is like the preciseness of that. Like someone like Giannis isn't going to be as impacted by a finger injury as someone like Steph Curry,
Mhm.
right? Because their game is different.
Mhm.
Like Giannis's game isn't as precise. It's very like
Violent.
it's just he's going to get to the basket. It's more consistent in that sense to where like he doesn't have to have like a very precise shot.
They played great D on Giannis today.
So like
He only had like 14 points.
his the outcome of his caliber of player isn't as determined by like if he gets an injury.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I don't think that's talked about enough.
Mhm.
That's why like when people were like
I don't know. Like,
bringing
people
up
have always kind of talked about Steph, about how fragile he is, though.
Yeah.
And that being a sort of a knock against him as... It's weird. Like, if you're going to have a conversation about where Steph lies on an all-time list of players, being like, his ankles get hurt is like a weak take. You know what I mean? It's just weird. I think in terms of like team building and thinking about like what style you want to play, like, can you be worried that Trae Young will hold up? Sure.
It was just something that I thought of, especially like when people were talking about Steph's finger injury for like, was it last playoffs?
Dude, they were talking about his
really-
finger injury last round, and they like forgot his ankle was also hurt. He pray for them ankles, man.
Yeah.
He's balling right now. Though. He's going.
But when people were like, oh, stop making excuses for like fucking Van Gundy was saying that. I was like, get the fuck out of here! Like, it's not an excuse; it's a reason. For why he's playing bad.
Yeah. Now he's popping off though. He's going nuts. Him and Draymond going crazy.
Dude,
Draymond's a beast.
Dude, Draymond gets a lot of hate. Like,
Great player, dude.
he's a great player.
He's a great
like
player.
fucking like he just consistently like when Steph wasn't necessarily playing well in Game 3, like the Blazers were once again like up by like 19
They were
or whatever,
big, yeah.
point. He was the one that was consistently getting a rebound, driving the ball, making really good passes, just really fucking high IQ basketball that was just so consistent from him.
Yeah, man.
And I loved watching.
Did you know he's lost 25 pounds?
Yeah.
How crazy is
ridiculous,
that?
yeah.
Like since the All-Star break or something,
Yeah.
he dropped. They literally coast. Him and Andre Iguodala literally coast through the regular season. Like Draymond is on record as saying, "I don't care about 82 game players. I care about 16 game players. Dudes that can get me 16 wins in the playoffs." It's crazy, and then it works. Like people are always like, "Oh, I don't know if they can turn on the switch." Blah blah blah. Look at Draymond right now. Look at the defense Andre Iguodala plays in the playoffs. James Harden, Dame Lillard. He'll guard anybody. He doesn't care. He's so good. He's like 30 billion years old.
But yeah.
You couldn't watch today, right? The Raptors-Bucks game?
No.
Giannis had 20 rebounds.
Jesus.
He only had like 14 points, though. They played really good defense. They were walling him very well.
That's series 2-1, right?
2-1 now because the Raptors won in double overtime today. I thought the Bucks were going to take it. They didn't. They led 2-0, and then they didn't lead again until the first overtime.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So they like surged back in the fourth and almost stole it, the first game in Toronto. I think this might be a gentleman's sweep.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. Because like even on a game where Giannis has a bad game and you're up big
In Toronto.
at home, you have to go to double overtime to get the dub. You know what I mean? And like I don't see Giannis having another game like that. He had one bad game against Celtics, and then what did he do? Slaughtered them for 4 games. Now they have Kawhi Leonard. and Pascal Siakam sort of switching around on him, playing defense. It's interesting to see the length of the Bucks bother Kawhi a little bit more. Like, he's not shooting as God. Like, I don't know if anyone could keep shooting as well as he was, but like, he's clearly not as efficient with the length of the Bucks. And a lot of it is Chris Middleton guarding him. They put Middleton on him a lot.
Yeah.
And Giannis guards Siakam.
Even when their second units is out there, they have Malcolm Brogdon.
I was just about, dude, Malcolm Brogdon is so good.
Mm-hmm.
He's so freaking good. Defense, running the point, shooting, scoring around the bat. Like, he's just so consistently good at all the things. I was like, today, I was just like, Giannis fouled out, and then Chris Middleton got his 5th foul. And they were like, all right, Brogdon, you've got to take Kawhi. And he was like, I got this. Playing great defense on Kawhi. It's so impressive. And he just came back from injury. Yeah, super impressive player.
He's a good player.
Yeah. I think we're probably going to end up with a Warriors-Bucks final. And I think that's going to be fun. Like, seeing Draymond level of defense against Giannis for a whole series. Because he's going to be the primary defender on Giannis for sure. Unless they want to do the bit where they might put Kevon Looney on him sometimes. Just because that's what teams do. They sometimes put their center on him. But it's going to be interesting. We're not there yet, though. Come on, Blazers. Come back. It's my squad. You got anything else?
I wanted to talk about this. So I meant to bring this up last week.
There's another NBA thing. I forgot. Cavs hired a mummy to be their coach. I just think it's funny.
A mummy?
He's 60 billion years old. They're John Beilein, the Michigan coach. It's now the head coach of the Cavs.
He's the same age as Andre Iguodala?
Yeah, him and Andre Iguodala were both around when the dinosaurs were around. I just think it's like kind of weird that a team who is really bad and young and stuff like that is going to hire like a super old dude who's never coached in the NBA before.
Yeah.
It's weird. But then they hired JB Bickerstaff today to be his like head assistant, and it's very clearly seems like a sort of bridge thing where they're like, when he wants to done, then you take over. But I don't know. I don't know enough about coaching. I just think it's interesting that they hired a super old dude who'd never coached the NBA. But in his defense, he's been really good at every level he's ever coached at. So, we'll see.
So anyway. I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to bring this up last week. Completely forgot about it. So you heard about this Ben Askren, Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah. The grapple
wrestling,
grapple thing.
Yeah. So
I just saw another one today. George Masvidal and Anthony Pettis maybe are going to do one.
Yeah.
In like Pensacola, Florida.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was basically just a wrestling match.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
It wasn't jiu-jitsu. It was wrestling.
Yeah, it was wrestling.
Okay.
Didn't
Jordan destroy him?
Grapple at the Garden. Jordan Burroughs won 11-0.
Holy shit. He's so good at wrestling.
He's fucking incredible.
He's amazing.
He's a fucking Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
He's fucking incredible.
But wasn't Ben Askren also a really good wrestler?
He was an Olympic team alternate.
Okay. The levels to that shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's levels to this shit. No, but
it's like I'm an MVP level player and I'm an all-star.
So I wanted to bring that up. Like it was just like an interesting match, and like you get to see like the. No, I watched like some of the highlights and stuff. Like he had a fucking nasty. Like Jordan Burroughs is known for like having really just violent double legs on people. Like his blast double is just so fucking.
I love
aggressive.
The term blast double. I think it's so cool.
And this dude like you've seen Jordan Burroughs before. For those that don't know who Jordan Burroughs is, I mean he is like an Olympic level like in the highest.
He looks like a Greek sculpture.
Exactly. Yeah. Fucking incredibly
lean and cut.
Yeah,
but built.
But just a peak level athlete, right? In a sport where fucking like peak level athletes are fucking
everywhere.
There's a myriad of them, right? Yeah. And he's just that much a little bit higher.
The peak of the peak.
Yeah. And fucking Ben Askren is not like that. No, really.
No.
Like he's
they call him funky for a reason.
He's doughy.
Yeah.
But
he's one sandwich away from being fat, as Drax would say.
But the really cool thing about it was that like they got to there was no bad blood between these guys, and a lot of people were like talking like shit about like
why does every combat thing need to have this bad blood backdrop.
I have no idea.
It's unnecessary,
I have
dude.
no idea. But like people are, I think a lot of people misunderstand who Ben Askren is.
Yeah, he's
I
just
think a lot of people
he's a shit talker.
think that he's like Colby Covington, and he's not.
No, he's just a weirdo.
Well, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Is the thing. He's like a really good guy. But I watched their interview after the match, and it was kind of funny because it started off with them just interviewing Jordan Burroughs, and he still had like sweat on his body, like he was like drying himself off, like as they started this interview, and he's like catching his breath and shit, and he starts talking about the match, and then he's like, Ben, come over here, like we'll do this together, and they both just step in front of the camera, and what starts off as like a Jordan Burroughs interview like becomes them just talking to each other about wrestling and about like why they did it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So like they just like start facing each other, and like they're like, man, I'm just really glad that, you know, we were able to do this for wrestling. Because it was just really big for the sport, and it like drawed a lot of attention. And they were talking about, Jordan Burroughs was talking about how you know, he looks up to, you know, guys like Ben, and I think he brought up Henry Cejudo, and all of these MMA guys that, you know, like are sort of bringing a lot of attention to wrestling.
Daniel
right?
Cormier, I would guess.
And then and then they were both started like talking about the match itself, and Ben Askren was like, look, I knew I was going to come in here and lose, but I thought I was going to get like one takedown. And then like they started, and Jordan Burroughs was like they started talking about the sport of wrestling, which I started fucking loving, like the things that they were both thinking about, and how they were approaching the match. And Jordan Burroughs was like, see, what you should have done was like I wanted to stay out. I want to stay like away from you. So that I could like utilize my speed and my fucking blast double and shit, so I can just like fucking plow through you. You shouldn't have given me that space. You should have like just gradually kept pressuring me, and like it would have been more your game.
Interesting.
Like, and then but like Ben Askren started like talking shit because he was like, yeah, but you're also really good in there too. So, and then Jordan Burroughs was like, well, then what was your plan? And he was like, I was gonna choke you out. Askren was like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in a guillotine, and I'm gonna choke you out. Yeah. That's the plan.
Sure.
But yeah, and then they started talking about the UFC, and Jordan Burroughs
has become the apple of Dana's eye, apparently.
So, and the thing is, like, he brought up, so Jordan was like, Ben, how long have you been training for MMA? And Ben was like, about 9 years. And I think Jordan said something along the lines of like, do you think that I could do
He's
that?
like already in his 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Ben was like, the first thing that he said was, I don't think that you want to do it. I don't think that you want to train for 9 years. And Jordan Burroughs was like, yeah, I don't. He's like, I don't. So
probably not going to happen.
Yeah, they started talking a little bit about like his possibilities of going into the UFC, and like you said, he's obviously a fucking incredible athlete, and widely regarded as the best base for MMA.
Yeah.
So it'd be super fun.
It's weird though. Like, yes, arguably the best base for MMA, but that's like kind of the 5 to 10 years ago version of the UFC. When we're now in an era where the people who come into MMA have always just trained MMA. They've always trained everything. That's sort of the new era of fighter. I'm not saying there's not specialists and guys that are better at certain things, but more and more fighters come in now, and they've been training to do everything the whole time, which is interesting. Yeah,
you're going to single out specific disciplines, it's the best base.
Yeah, just because you can control the pace and the place of a fight.
But it's not just that. But like the huge advantage that something like wrestling has over something like jiu-jitsu is just the way that they train is incredibly different.
That's true.
Like there is an aggression that wrestling brings along with it. Like the fact that how you cut weight, how you train, fucking the kind of mentality that you have to have in wrestling is very different from that of jiu-jitsu.
Did you see there's another fight announcement this week?
I don't think so.
Holloway, Frankie.
Yes,
finally
I did
happening.
See that.
Finally happening. Finally happening. I
do
don't think
that?
though it's going to be in Hawaii. Fucking let that dude fight in Hawaii.
He's never fought in Hawaii.
Never. Let him fight in Hawaii. What are you doing? I'm just glad he's moving back down to his turf. I was bummed seeing him get zonked out moving up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's got the power to move up on a consistent basis like that. Yeah. Want to do shout outs?
Yeah, we can.
You want me to go first?
Yes, please.
I'm going to shout out a television show. And I'm shouting out this television show because it's on the bubble. And I'm mad about it. May or may not get renewed for its 3rd season.
Okay.
It's a show called AP Bio. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
AP Bio is part of NBC's comedy block, which is underrated. They have a good comedy block. The problem is that, remember in like the golden days of The Office and Parks and Rec and 30 Rock, like the NBC had this like god of a comedy block they did. I think it was Tuesday nights, if I remember correctly. Now they have Superstore, very good. AP Bio is on there. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is now on there. And they have The Good Place. The problem is they have this great comedy block, and it's like scattered. Like The Good Place ended like 2 months ago, and then AP Bio has only been on there for like since then. So this weird like scattering of the way they do their shows. That if they just went back to that old school, here's 2 hours of really good comedy, that would be awesome. Not that I watch them live anyway, just watch them on Hulu, but like just the idea of like, you know, keeping a consistent release schedule of things. So this show, AP Bio, I will just read you the synopsis for it. A former philosophy professor who takes a job teaching AP Biology uses his students to get back at the people in his life who have wronged him. He is played by Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Is that... Okay.
Yeah, that dude. Co-star Patton Oswalt, who plays the principal.
Okay.
Now, the first season of the show is interesting. So, like, when I first saw the trailer for the show, I was like, that looks funny and interesting. I'll check it out. And I went into it obviously thinking this is going to be this type of show where, like, a cranky, upset adult meets a bunch of kids and they, like, you know, he's like, he sees the beauty in life. He learns from the kids as much as they learn from him, kind of thing. Very first scene, one of the first scenes is literally him rolling up in there and being like, I'm not going to learn shit from you. Like, he's like, no, this isn't going to be that kind of thing. And like literally every episode, he walks into the classroom, he says, start shutting up. And then he's like, here's how we're going to get revenge on so-and-so person. And it's like these super ridiculous plans that he goes through. And like, he hates living in Toledo. But the thing they've done in season 2, which has made the show infinitely better, is they've leaned into their supporting cast a lot. So the teachers he works with are really funny, and the kids are amazing. They're so good. They're super funny. Yeah, there's not a ton. There's 1.5 seasons essentially right now, and I think season 1 is only like 13 episodes. It's on Hulu. It's really funny. It's not kind of it is and isn't what you expect it to be at the same time in a very good way. Does that make sense? It like is that show where he learns from but it takes way longer for that to start happening than you think, and it happens in a very organic way to the show, and I think it's really good. So AP Bio is my shout out.
Okay, dope. I'm going to double up on philosophy resources.
Ayo.
Back-to-back weeks. Last week I brought up Western Philosophers, an app that you can find in fucking App Store. This week I brought this podcast up while I was discussing the app. That. It's called Philosophize This.
Yeah, you were like, Philosophize This. You could use that as a shout out. And you're like, yeah, I will. Mm-hmm. And now you're doing it.
And now I'm doing it. So Philosophize This is just a fucking really good philosophy podcast. And the good thing is, like, you can just start from the very beginning of the podcast, and he takes you all the way through, like, chronologically through different philosophers and their ideas.
Interesting. Who is philosophizing these?
I think his name is Stephen West. I think that's
very
his name.
Basic white name.
Yeah. He's very knowledgeable, very like kind of dorky too. Like he has like a lot of just like, weird.
Is this one of those? I'm a dude and I'm doing a podcast and it's just me and I'm just giving you information.
Yeah,
like Dan Carlin. That's that guy's name, right?
Yeah,
the history guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty similar to that.
That seems so hard.
Yeah, well, you can tell that his
stuff we suck at this. How does somebody do it by themselves?
Yeah. Well. You can tell that his stuff is scripted. Mm-hmm. You know, like he's very much giving. It's almost like he's reading an essay, but like as he's going, like the first few beginning episodes, kind of robotic in the way that he's delivering his lines
But he
and
gets
stuff
better.
like that. He gets a lot better. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, I like it a lot. Philosophize This.
Wow. So much shorter than the last one.
There's not as much.
Yeah, there's not as
detail
much
to it.
detail to it. Yeah, it's a podcast. Listen to it. All right, cool. Philosophize This with Stephen West,
I think that's his name.
Bill West,
No, that's definitely not.
Jay West. I don't know. What are other basic names? John
who's-
West.
Kanye West. Is that someone?
Yes, that is someone. Or is it something? I don't know.
Well, that's
Kanye West is an idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A good way to save yourself there.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
can see why that was bad. Didn't think about that in the moment. Yeah, Philosophize This and AP Bio. Check them out. They good. So this Thursday will be our Game of Thrones episode where we talk about Game of Thrones.
The entirety. We go through every single episode.
We should have. We didn't do that, but we should have said, all right, I'm putting out 1 minute per episode. Go. Couldn't do it. It'd be too hard. Anyway, we talk about Game of Thrones. A pretty popular show if you've heard of it. I don't know. maybe you've seen it. I don't know. I certainly haven't, so I had to talk about it without ever seeing it. I'm stuck in a loop of a bad bit and I can't get out.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh my god. Okay.
I wish
anyway.
there was like some type
Yeah.
of fucking like rope I could throw you here and there.
All right, yeah. Find us on the socials, and hit us up on our poll on Twitter and on Facebook to do our spoiler episode, not for this week, but for next week. We will be seeing either John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum or Booksmart, the directorial debut of Olivia Wilde. Yeah, the poll can be found on Facebook at The Chris and Kyle Show or on Twitter, tcaks Pod. The Chris and Kyle Show can be found on all other places, Instagram, YouTube, all podcasting platforms. Hit us up, like, share, rate, review, all that fun stuff. Find Chris, chrismichaelstott.com for his scripts. Chris Michaelstott on Instagram. Find me, DavinWell25 on Twitter and Instagram. It's been fun. We out.
We out. Stay weird.